Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, May 15th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I value my experience of the divine unfoldment. And today we have an interesting day. I always think it's interesting when the nodes get involved because the nodes have an element of fate in them. And I feel like especially with the North Node in Pisces, it's almost like an extra bump of fate, fate and faith lessons. So today we actually have the moon in Sagittarius activating what looks like initially kind of like a T-square, but it's actually thumbs up, thank you. It's actually a full mutable square that we have activating today. So we're building to a T-square between Jupiter and the nodes, but today the moon kind of activates it. So we have moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Gemini, and both of these energies are paying attention to what's happening, looking for the patterns, and reporting on it from their perspective. And then we have South Node Virgo, which is very attuned to reality and what's going wrong in reality. And then we have the North Node in Sagittarius, North Node in Pisces, which is very attuned to the divine and how everything that's unfolding has a divine hand in it. And it feels like, oh my gosh, what are those things called? The choose your own adventure, but it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of what they're called. Okay, so, you fill in a noun, you fill in a verb, and then you read the story, and the story's so silly because you fed in Mad Libs. Yay, okay. Feels like Mad Libs. Choose your own adventure / Mad Libs energy. In this, you get to decide what you're going to pay your attention to. There's Jupiter in Gemini. What truth you're going to align with. There's the moon in Sagittarius. And if you are going to let the experience of reality fully form your information, or if you will let the divine form. Now, I feel like it's meant to be both. But truly, with the North Node in Pisces, did I say that? I might have said the wrong words. I've heard we've been having crazy solar flares. And since the full moon, I have felt so weird. So if you are feeling weird too, may also be these solar flares. But North Node in Pisces is reminding us that we are co-creating all of this and that our imagination, our daydreams, and what we see, and even how we interpret what we see really matters. So this is all kind of activating today. Now, it's going to be a little bit, let's see. Let me look at the Mimi cheat sheet. It's going to be about 4 days till we have Jupiter and the North Node fully reach their square. So we have this building. So here's the moon in Sagittarius that's activating. Being like, you get to choose your truth. You get to choose how you're going to see this. So very interesting energies in this. We also have the moon in Sagittarius squaring Saturn, still hanging out with Ceres at that 29th degree. I will tell you, the Divine Mother was very helpful for me today when I was struggling with something. I was like calling this in, and it was very helpful, as Divine Mother energy is. So I encourage that still. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out yesterday's scope. But as the moon squares Saturn, again, what I'm feeling with this is really interesting because astrology is the study of patterns. Like, that's what it is. And astrologers have noticed, okay, when this happens, this happens. But it doesn't mean that we can't change the game. Like, while that's likely to happen, it's like we can see that it happened, so we can give it different stimulation, different information, different energy, right? So we don't have to necessarily follow the pattern. I think this is why Sagittarius energy is important, because Sagittarius is like, and this has happened, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. It has noticed the predictable rhythms, right? And then it's like, okay, but this is how we fed into these predictable rhythms. What happens if we feed it in a different way? And as we have this square, crash the symbols, between the moon and Saturn at 29, we can see what has been. And we can make changes within ourselves. We can make changes within our vision. We can make changes in what we expect to help change and shift the energies. And so I encourage that today, especially if you're seeing something that you've always seen and you're telling the same story in your head. What happens if you shift your story? I notice such big things when I shift my stories. I gotta tell you though, it's not easy to shift your story. The same old story will come back around because that's like the record that has like the grooves, deep grooves in it within yourself. And so it's important to see where you can stay with your new story so you can shift the story, right? We then have the moon shifting into Capricorn. That's going to be happening right around 1 p.m. Pacific time. So I usually feel like a little downward energy as we have the lunar shift. So you may get a little void moon energy. Moon in Capricorn helps us make a decision. And again, this will be helpful, I think, as we reach this Jupiter squaring the nodes. Where are you going to pay your attention? What are you going to give your energy? The moon in Capricorn is going to be squaring Neptune. Neptune newly in the sign of Aries. It's still just hanging out at 1 degree. So we'll have that in the afternoon. That feels like a few different ways pulling on you, right? Like, are you going to do this or are you going to do that? It's always good to have your awareness with Neptune that there's usually some level of illusion. And this is where I say use your illusion, because there's a lot of illusion in the world and a lot of people using illusion that you may have believed, right? So where can you use your illusion for alignment, for betterment? The Capricorn might have a little trouble with that, but I promise you, some of what the Capricorn energy is like, I've decided this and I'm going to go in this way, is still an illusion. So just be aware of that in making your decisions. Cards. Cards were very insistent. They were flying out when I was trying to shuffle them. So the first one that came flying out is the receptivity card too. And this, I really feel like, especially with this mutable square, like the universe is talking. Can you listen? Can you listen to what the universe is trying to tell you and how it is calling upon you to guide you? And how is it trying to guide you? We got these 3 cards. Success, Eye of the Tiger, the Fool, starting a new venture, and change. So these 3 things together, I may not bring them out in this order, but these 3 things together feel really good. So can you receive the direction, the inspiration that the universe is offering you? I also have the isolation card, and you may have to put yourself on a timeout and listen to get the information beyond all of the outside stimulus that is happening and unfolding right now. 3 things came here too. Like I said, notice the predictable rhythms, so we talked about that. Seeing things for what they are. This is important. A lot of times when we see things for what they are, beyond the illusion, it can help us form the story that we want to tell. And so this is where the South Node Virgo energy is very helpful, to see it, but not getting stuck like, oh, this is how it is, woe is me. No. Inhale, exhale, breathe, and create. Our final card is gratitude. Fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for you wherever I go. So that's a little beautiful energy to finish on. I'm going to leave that there for today. Good luck allowing the universe to roll through you and help form new creative stories. You can book a reading if you would like some support with that. And besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And I want to do the remember who you are. I'm hearing it in my head. Remember who you are. So remember who you are, because that's important. But may your guiding light be strong and know that you can trust your process. Namaste.